Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into one of the coolest ancient math techniques you've probably never been taught, being the Babylonian Doubling Method. This method is over 4,000 years old, and yet it's clever and efficient and still holds up to today. And today we're going to use it to divide and multiply and even check our work with a couple practice questions with full solutions. So to start, since Babylonians didn't have any calculators and their multiplication tables only went up to 5, how did they multiply big numbers? That's the question we're answering today. The way that they did it was by the doubling method, where you create a doubling table for one number and break the other number into sums of powers of 2. And then you're going to add the matching doubled values, kind of like binary multiplication. So now what we're going to do is we're going to have our practice question being 23 multiplied by 18. So we will take our larger number here to be the number that gets doubled, since it makes it a little bit easier on us. So we'll have our 1, which is doubled to 2, 4, 8, and 16. And now the reason that we're going to be stopping at 16 is because we notice our other number is 18. So anything past 16 is larger than 18, so it wouldn't really matter. So now what we're going to do is our 1, we're going to have it correspond to 23 multiplied by 1, which gives us 23. 2 is going to be 23 multiplied by 2, which gives us 46. 23 multiplied by 3, which gives us 92. 23 multiplied by 8, which gives us 184. And finally, 23 multiplied by 16, which gives us 368. So now, the way that we're able to get our 23 multiplied by 18 is by breaking 18 into powers of 2. So we'll notice that 18 is equal to 16 plus 2. We want to take the rows for 16 and 2. So this is going to be our 368 and 46. So now all we have to do is take our two numbers that we received and add them. So we get 46 plus 368, which will give us 414. Meaning that 23 multiplied by 18 is going to be equal to 414. So now we're going to do the method using division. So it follows the same kind of procedures, except this time what we're going to do is when we're writing out our powers of 2, which is our 1, 2, 4, 8, and 16, we're going to be multiplying it by our 14, our smaller number this time around. So this is going to give us our 14, and then double that will give us our 28. Doubled is 56, again is 112, and then the last time is 224. So now you're seeing that we have 196. So the process with this is we're going to try to find our numbers in our doubled section, so out of this section right here, that add up to 196. So with 196, we know for sure that it's not going to be 224. So we're going to start off with 112, since it's the largest number we have. And now we want to multiply or add 56 and 28, which will give us our 196. But now what we need to do is we need to look at what the powers are for each of these. So 112 is going to be 8, 56 is 4, and 28 is 2. And now we need to just add those together. So we have 8 plus 4 plus 2, which gives us 14, which tells us that 196 divided by 14 is equal to 14. So now we have a couple practice problems on the screen that you can pause the video and try yourself, or just skip ahead if you want to see the full solutions for them. So now for problem 1, we have 27 times 19. So we're going to write out our 1, 2, 4, 8, and 16. Since we don't go any larger than 16, as our other number is 19. And since it's multiplication, we're going to do our doubling with our larger value, which is our 27 here. So we'll have 27, 54, 108, 216, and finally 432. Now we're going to break our 19 up into our powers of 2, which is going to be our 16 plus 2 plus 1. And now we're going to write out our values of those sections. So 16 is 432, plus 2, which is 54, plus 1, which is 27, giving us 513, meaning that 27 times 19 is equal to 513. So now we're going to do question 2, which is 14 times 35. So with the other questions, we've always taken the doubling from the larger number. But there's actually an easier way to do this one. Because if you notice, with our 14, breaking up into powers of 2 is going to be more difficult than breaking a 35 up into powers of 2. And this is because we don't have to stop at 16 this time. So we get 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, but now we get to use 32, which is much closer to 35 than 8 is to 14. Either way works, but this way would just make it a little bit easier. So this time we're going to be doubling our 14. So we get 14, 28, 56, 112, 224, and then finally 448. Now this is where it comes into play, because we have 35 is equal to 32 plus 2 plus 1, which keeps it nice and simple. So again, we just want to plug in our values, which is going to be our 448 plus 28 plus 14, giving us our final value of 490, meaning that 14 times 35 is going to be equal to 490. So now we have our last multiplication question, which is 46 times 12. So again, we're going to go back to just doubling our larger number. So we get 1, 2, 4, and 8. Now we're just going to double our 46. So this is 46, 92, 184, and then 368. Now breaking 12 up into powers of 2 gives us 8 plus 4, which makes it nice and simple, because plugging in our values gets us 368 plus 184, giving us our final total of 552, meaning that 46 multiplied by 12 gives us 552. Now for our first division question, we have 252 divided by 18. So now with division, we always want to just double the smaller number. We're not going to be doing our doubling all the way up to 252. So this will give us 1, 2, 4, 8, and then we'll also have 16. So now doubling 18 gives us 18, 36, 72, 144, and then finally 288. Now we know we don't need to go past 16 because 288 is already larger than 252, so it won't be used, so there's no point in continuing. So now what we need to do is we need to find all the numbers that add up to 252, which in this case is 144, plus 72 plus 36. And now we want to have our corresponding values added. So 144 is 8, plus 72, which is the value of 4, plus 36, which is our value of 2, which gives us the answer of 14, meaning that 252 divided by 18 is equal to 14. Now for our final question, we have 560 divided by 35. So again, we're just going to write out our 1, 2, 4, 8, and 16 as standard, and we're going to double our smaller number, which is our 35, which goes to 70, 140, 280, and 560. So for this question, we got lucky because we can see that 16 is exactly 560. So we don't even need to add. We already know it's 16, meaning that 560 divided by 13 is equal to 16. And that is the recap of the Babylonian doubling method, a 4,000-year-old technique that still works today. If you have any other ancient math tricks that you want me to cover, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.